Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today got a fun little restoration. The truck's still in California, so while it's down there, I got to keep my hands busy on restoration in some way. So today we're gonna actually restore this Kumete right here. Sorry, a little shaky. The Polynesian ceremonial bowl. So we'll get into details as to what needs to be fixed on it and whatnot, but yeah. Gotta try to save it. All right, so one of the first things you'll notice is here, someone tried to save it with some epoxy plastic. So this is why it's so shiny, but you can see here where the cracks have really started to take in on it. I'll show you the other side. But because of these huge cracks, it would leak. And when the person tried to epoxy it, it started to pool down here. So this is probably about an inch thick of epoxy down at the bottom. And I poured water into it and it actually still leaks, especially I think on this side is where it's the worst. So it's pretty big. This thing probably, I think I measured it, it's about 26 inches in diameter. And it's pretty heavy. Most likely made out of ironwood. So I don't know if it's Fijian or Tongan Kumete, but it's pretty big. Holds probably about somewhere around 7 gallons, maybe 6 to 8 gallons in it. So let's flip it over and look at the bottom. So on this side right here, you can see where even the epoxy was dripping through when it was trying to cure. So that's where one of the cracks is. And then on the other side, the other crack here, again, some patchwork. But we're gonna try to save this thing because it looks like it wants to split in half. Right, Lenny? Mm-hmm. And, you know, we can show you how, basically these things were all carved out from a big stump. As you can imagine, probably at this height. And then they start to carve out with chainsaw the legs. Yes. And start to shape it up. First, really bulky like. Yep, we see you. And then they would start to work on cutting out the hole of the bowl, the main part of it. And then they would gradually just start working down with sanding and everything until it finally became real smooth. But today, I'm trying to get rid of all this epoxy here first so we can get it down to the raw wood. We can start seeing what we can do about patching up these cracks. We want to save the bowl. We want to save it, right?
Yeah.
These traditional bowls makes for good bread bowl, serving bowl, decor, or for traditional kava ceremonies.
Hello.
Insert quick history of kava now. So yeah, this bowl was gifted to me by a family member because, again, of the issues that it has. They just didn't have the time. So they gave it to me and said, if you want to fix it up, you can have it. So again, let's save this thing. Try to keep a little piece of the Polynesian history and culture. It's really nice. I like the way it looks and the design. I like the dark wood of it. Just needs to be secured up. All right. First things first, mask for dust, safety goggles. I got my angle grinder here with this carbon, sorry I gotta get the name right, but I think it's like a carbon type of abrasive remover. Let me just get it here so I'm not ruining it. Yep, polycarbide abrasive wheel. It's probably backwards, but says it can remove heavy-duty polyurethane, or it's heavy-duty polyurethane fiber, and removes rust, paint, and flaking materials. So I'm gonna try to see how that works on this bowl first. All right, just to give you guys, just to give you guys a little closer look, you can see how thick this is. I mean, I know you probably can't see as big of a depth. Can't see depth too well, but I probably took out a good inch so far. There's a nice big ridge right here of this epoxy, so it's working. Dirty jobs. So I had to switch to the old respirator, because this thing is so dusty with this plastic. I don't want to inhale all that stuff. But look, we got it out. Starting to expose some of the wood underneath. That big pocket is gone. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, look at all that. Woo! A lot of plastic. Alright, well, I got most of it off on the lip, and I'm just working my way down. This is obviously already cleared mostly, but just working that abrasive one. It's almost done. So I might have to get my second one out to just get all of this, the rest of this, cleared out of here. But it's coming along. All right, that's all I was able to get out of the first one. That disc is done. And that's as far as I was able to get as far as getting off all of that nasty epoxy. So I got a new one on. Hopefully we can get it all cleaned up. All right, guys, so I got no more of these sanding discs left. That one, this one. But the biggest thing is that's just stain, these black spots that I'll get hopefully with the sander. But for the most part, all the shiny I got out, all of the shiny epoxy. I just kept going around and making sure, like, there's still maybe a little bit on this one. You can see a little bit of that shine. But just, I'll do that a little more a few more times, touching up, just getting all that out. But if not, since my things are shot, I think the orbital sander should be able to get that, and we'll see how it looks. So I did have to go and grab another one of those flat discs. It just was not enough with the 80 grit sandpaper that I had. I did grab some 40 grit sandpaper, so we're still working on it, but it's coming along. Got most of the gunk out from the cracks here. Seen where there was a nice hole right here after I started working over all that main covering. You can see here, yep, there was a good hole right there that needs to get filled. Everything else seems pretty sealed up. There's some little holes here and there, but I think once we're able to get this filled up, I think this was where the biggest leak of the water was coming out. So yeah, but look at that. Got that wood grain showing now, and down to the bottom. No more epoxy. All right, guys, getting a little late, but for the most part, got all the old out. I'm gonna keep going with the sander. So there's still just some discoloration, I think, between the finish that was on it stain or whatever that is and the original wood. So just got to take it a little bit deeper, but for the most part, I'm sure you'll see a huge difference from before. All right, guys, time for a little reveal on the fixed up Kumete. Oh, might have seen a little bit of it. So got it all cleaned up and then got some things done on it. So I want to just show you how the finished product turned out. Here we go. All right, sanded it down, cleaned up the outside and the inside. So there's the final look at it. So, a few things we did. Alright. So I got in touch with a really good woodworker who does bow ties. And so we put in here this piece of wood. It's a bow tie, basically like a stitch, right? But it'll hold it in place because it's one solid piece of wood from more pressure pushing outward. Same on this side over here. So we put a bow tie on this side, bow tie on this side. Kind of like it. It actually looks kind of like a design. So it, I don't know, I don't think it throws off anything from the way the Kumete is supposed to look. If you remember from the last video though, inside these cracks here, there were some huge gaps. And so we filled it in with a glue, specific type of glue that will cure and then be food grade. So all the cracks were sealed up with that and then let dry. And then we put a finish over it. So if you see, didn't want it too shiny, so the finish we used was not real glossy or anything, but I think it looks more natural and it won't take as long to cure, hopefully. Because right now it has like a somewhat of like a urethane kind of smell to it. So we'll probably have to let it sit for about a month just to fully cure so that it can be, you know, locked in before you put anything in it. And, you know, drink out of it or eat out of it or whatever you're gonna use any kind of wood bowl for, bread bowl or whatever for this Kava ceremonies. But what was cool was when we cleaned it up, it really lightened up this part of the wood that I didn't realize was there, that was so light. Probably because the way that the original maker did it, I think they used a stain on the outside that made it all look brown. But once we took it all off, came out with this really light looking piece of the wood, which a lot of the, you know, wood designs, if it is like ironwood or whatever type of wood they use, will have those light features to it. So I thought it was pretty dope. All right, okay, flipping this turtle over. And these cracks had a ton of excess epoxy things dripping all over it. So we cleaned this all up, got the grain coming in looking nice, all up in this area, and then added in another bow tie. As you can see right here, there's a different type of wood throughout so that it can hold this crack, give it more support. Again, those are the biggest, that's the biggest one on this side. And then on the other side, there's another bow tie right here and a little bit lower, closer to the bottom to give this area a little bit more support. So yeah, that bow tie is also sealing up this crack here. So it's got more support. We did test it, hold about 5 gallons or so of water and no leaks. So again, now we did also clean up this whole area of it. So it was a little bit rougher. Like there was kind of little like pieces of wood, like it was bark almost type feel with pieces, strands kind of still of the wood sticking out, but just cleaned it all up, and now it's super smooth to the touch. So inside and out, it's been all cleaned up. Some of the legs were a little uneven when it would sit, so these were added in before. That's why you see that there, but some of these need to be also, you know, kept from cracking or whatever reason they put these here, maybe to add something else, I don't know, but these two were the ones that needed some extra padding to keep it level when it sits right side up. Another thing that we did as well that I think was one of the reasons why it was so off was, if you remember this side right here where this knot was on both of these, actually kind of sat higher, so it was really uneven. But as we went, we also leveled it all out. So I mean, you look at that and you can see that sucker's pretty smoothed out and leveled out. Not perfect, which isn't what we're going for, but at least a lot better, so that, you know, it's not causing any unnecessary warping, or, you know, if it's lopsided in any way, then puts different pressure. So now that this is even and has a bow tie on each side, it should be solid. So yeah, smoothed it out, leveled it out. It's all even, cleaned up, man. The cool thing about the Kumete that I like is it's very specific, traditional kind of thing to Polynesia. And they're cool looking, and they're not that hard to store and keep. And so little traditional stuff to hold on to from our culture. I like it. One thing that I like about how we finished it up with a little more sanding and the finish that we put on it was, it was kind of, with the raw wood, it was kind of like spotty, if you guys remember from the earlier parts of the video. But now it's pretty much like all that's gone away, and you can see the wood grain really nice. Everything looks good. The only thing that is still kind of remaining is this ring right here. And typically what that is because of its actual use. So that's probably because of the, you know, years of kava use, that typically it would sit at a certain level, whatever, and then the wood gets almost kind of like stained to that darker color, because that's where most of the time the kava was being used. So I imagine it's probably that low because it's probably been cracked for a while. And if you remember, the biggest cracks were up here on these sides. So it probably was cracked for a while, and whoever was using it was probably only filling it up to here so that it wouldn't leak, and just keeping it down, the kava down on this area, so that they didn't have to worry about trying to fix this up. So that's probably why the ring is where it is. This is where the most kava use was, down here. As you can see, it's a darker wood. But all in all, I still think it's still a good looking interior of the bowl, just like the way the grains are. And this filler being black, I think, is actually better than if it was like a wood glue color or something. I prefer it to look black. It looks like it's just part of the wood. Like wood naturally has sometimes these kind of dark lines through them, especially where there's a you know, a lot of grain like this. So I think it actually looks as natural and cool as possible, even with the bow ties on it. So yeah, guys, that's it on all the things we did to repair it and try to save this Kumete. And, you know, like I said, I mean, restoration is something that was a recent hobby of mine. I didn't realize I had the passion for, desire for, was just taking things that are old and worn down or beat up or maybe on their last leg, and bringing them back to life, giving them some more life. So I'll try to keep you guys posted on how it turns out in about a month, and whether or not it is still holding water. Also, if that urethane smell or whatever that smell is on the finish is gone, and we can then use it. She's patched up. All right, so I had it curing for about a month. So gonna show you guys here how it's looking now. So I'm here in the kitchen because I was using the sink to fill up the water. Now I didn't go all the way up because honestly, with how much this thing level is up here, I doubt it would ever be used for anything going up all the way to the rim. But it's been sitting here for a good while, and this is from washing it, so it's not a leak, there's no crack right there or anything, but underneath, no cracks, no leaks, no water. It's been here for a good minute, so I think with the seal we put on it and everything, it's good. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on how it turns out with the sealant that we used, as well as filling in the cracks and this bow tie and everything. I think we can officially say she's been saved. So yep, good to go. That's a nice little repair on the Kumete. All right, guys, that's it for this one. It was fun to work on. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out, Steven's Family, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. Peace.